Hello friends! In this video, we will discuss some interesting topics about the Baki series. This year, we had the new season of the animated series and the new manga art. It was definitely a good year for fans of the series. But well, as I said before, today we are going to talk about some interesting topics of the series, and I will also answer some questions from the fans. First, I would like to start by talking about something a follower asked me a few days ago. He asked me if Jack's jaw could be considered the demon jaw, and if that power-up is stronger than the demon back. The question is really interesting. Indeed, Jack's jaw could well be called the demon jaw, a very appropriate term to describe the most powerful jaw in the Baki series. Some believe that Pickle's jaw is superior, but in my opinion, Jack has eclipsed it thanks to his rigorous training to strengthen his jaw and his new titanium teeth. Pickle's bite is powerful, and it would be even more so if the caveman dedicated himself to training it like Jack does. But for now, I consider it the second most powerful bite among the fighters in the series. But well, assuming Jack will never awaken the demon back, we can say that he has the demon jaw. Now, speaking about which of the two is stronger, it's clear that the demon back is a more complete power-up, as it maximizes the user's abilities. For example, in the Baki vs. Oliva fight, the boy was being beaten by Biscuit, but when he activated his demon back, he was able to give him an equal fight. The same happened when he fought against Yujiro. In that fight, he was receiving a great beating, but when he activated the demon back, he was able to give a worthy fight to the ogre, even made him feel real pain for the first time in a long time. Based on that and other fights, it could be said that the demon back doubles the physical capabilities of Baki and Yujiro, or at least increases them by 50%. That means that if Jack managed to use this power, his current strength would increase considerably. Possibly he would have defeated Nomi in a couple of seconds, just as Baki did. The issue here is that lately Baki has grown too much. He defeated Nomi in 9 seconds, and didn't even have to activate his demon back, while it took Jack a while to finally knock down the Rikishi. If we analyze that fight, Jack really went in with a well-thought-out strategy from the beginning, attacking Nomi's vital points to weaken him gradually and secure the victory. With Baki, it was very different. In his first fight with Nomi, he completely humiliated him. It seemed as if he was playing with him, and then, in their second fight, Baki took the challenge seriously and struck the Rikishi with all his strength. That's why he knocked him out in less than 10 seconds. There are so many variables to analyze, and it would be too hasty to say that Jack's jaw is a power-up on the level of the demon back. Currently, there is no power comparable to the demon back. So, for the moment, I will say that Baki with his demon back remains superior to Jack Hanma. I believe that this new arc of the manga, with Jack as the protagonist, is destined to build up Jack and develop him as someone on the level of Baki and Yujiro. The premise of this arc gives us the fight of Jack versus Pickle, that much-awaited rematch where it will finally be shown who has the strongest bite in the series. So it's likely that through the fights Jack will have in this arc, we can see how he becomes stronger and improves his biting technique to finally become a worthy opponent to defeat Yujiro. Anyway, I would like to hear your opinion on this. Tell me if you think the demon jaw could become a power greater than the demon back. Another person was asking who would win an arm wrestling competition. Well, anyone would say that Oliva Biscuit, Yujiro, or Pickle would win over the others. Yet, in arm wrestling, strength isn't the only factor. Grip technique is very important, and in this aspect, guys like Hanayama or Nomi have a greater advantage. Both are known for their incredible grip strength, and perhaps that would be a great advantage for them. I've said it many times, but Nomi has the strongest grip in the series, so he would surely defeat a large part of the fighters in the series, of course, if he uses his right hand. Remember that he lost a finger on his left hand, and with it also lost most of his grip strength. However, there is a fighter who could surpass Nomi and Hanayama with some ease. Goki, the Aikido master. Although his muscle mass is not impressive, Goki is an expert in using the opponent's strength against them. Remember how he subdued Oliva Biscuit and Nomi with just one hand. Like those, there are several more examples where he demonstrates his incredible Aikido technique. It's very possible that Goki would apply this technique in an arm wrestling tournament, winning with cunning and without much effort. However, against someone like Yujiro, who masters all martial arts, this tactic might not be effective. It would be interesting to see an arm wrestling match between Hanayama and Oliva Biscuit, or one between Pickle and Yujiro Hanma. both using only their brute force. What do you think would happen? Who do you think would be the finalists in an arm wrestling tournament in the Baki series? This friend asks what would have happened if Oliva Biscuit fought with Pickle. It's something we'll never know for sure, but we can speculate that Pickle would have seen Oliva as a worthy challenge. Taking as reference his encounter with Hanayama, where Pickle could not completely dominate, and compared him to a triceratops, one of the strongest and most resistant dinosaurs in history, we can infer that Biscuit would have represented a challenge as formidable as Hanayama. I imagine that Biscuit would have attacked the caveman head-on, following his fighting style. If so, I believe he would have managed to injure him, but not enough to knock him out. Ultimately, the caveman would probably have been the victor. What is certain is that Biscuit would have been a more appetizing bite for Pickle than any other fighter. Oliva Biscuit is immense, almost like a dinosaur. What would have happened if Tasan Matsu had met Baki? For those who don't know, Tasan was the father of Baki's girlfriend. He was a very strong fighter who, unfortunately, died before his daughter met Baki. He was so strong that on one occasion, he hugged a tree with such force that he made it bloom. He faced Yanagi and managed to defeat him. However, he couldn't overcome the colonel's poison and simply accepted his fate. His only wish was to win the tournament to get the prize, a large sum of money, with which he could help his daughter, who suffered from a serious illness. In the end, he succeeded, but at the cost of his life. It's sad that this great man never met Baki. I'm sure he would have been an excellent father figure for him, and both would have gotten along well. However, there is a dangerous aspect to this scenario. Tasan did not fit into Yujiro Hanma's plans. The ogre wanted to mold Baki through suffering, and Tasan would have been an obstacle in his goal. It's likely that the ogre would have decided to eliminate him to prevent him from interfering in Baki's development, at least in the one he had planned. Yujiro didn't need a happy Baki with a second family. He wanted the boy to focus on getting stronger to defeat him, so either way he would not have had a happy ending in this story. I almost forgot about this question. A guy asking who would win between Yujiro and Godzilla. If it's the Godzilla from the old movies, maybe the ogre could cause some damage. But to the one from the Monsterverse, definitely not even a scratch. That beast is immune even to atomic bombs. What if Musashi had met an ancestor of the Hanma family? It would be incredible if Musashi had met an ancestor of Yujiro in the past. The Hanma family has always stood out over decades, so if one of them coincided with Musashi, they definitely must have met at some point. Musashi was a living legend, feared all over the world. It is likely that his name would have reached the ears of the Hanma. Any following his fighter's nature would have gone in search of the legendary swordsman to check if all that was said about him was true. This is pure speculation, but it would be a great revelation if Musashi had met a Hanma ancestor. He didn't mention anything about it, but maybe he thought it was unnecessary to tell Mitsunari or even Yujiro. In any case, he is the only individual who can be considered at the same level as the most powerful being on the planet. Many of us long for his return and eagerly await a fair fight between him and Yujiro without third-party interference. But well, leave your opinion on these topics in the comment box. And before ending the video, I would like to mention something important. Next chapter of Baki Rahen could be released in the first week of January, or if we are lucky, in the last week of December. It's complicated because of the holiday dates, but we shouldn't rule out that possibility. And well, friends, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked it. I hope you have a nice day or night. See you soon.